Hi everybody, and thank you for viewing this video. My name is Iza, and today what I wanted to discuss with you is the concept of how to deal with failure. How to deal with times where maybe your goal hasn't come out the way you've planned or the way you've expected it to. So I think as human beings, we've all been there at a stage in our lives where something major that we've planned hasn't really turned out the way we wanted it to. Maybe it's whether or not you entered into medical school, or whether or not you went into, law or law school, or maybe a relationship that you were really hoping for, or maybe whatever it be in life, when you have just not gotten what you wanted to, or not had life working according to your expectations. And I think in my personal story, I've had probably way more failures than successes. And after high school, I wanted to get into medical school, sort of never made it. Then I opened up several businesses, failed in almost all of them. I have this one left, and this is my only hope, basically. Okay, so I have had my own fair share of failure, and basically this is what I've learned from all of these failures and successes. Success is really nice. Okay, it feels great. I mean, everybody loves success. You feel happy, you feel on top of the world when things go the way you want them to. You really do. And I mean, although you're happy, although you're really, satisfied with yourself and what you've accomplished, you don't really get to know yourself. You don't really get to learn anything about you. When things just turn out the way you want, then you basically are trapped at a certain level of growth. Okay, so you don't grow to that higher level, you just stay there. And you're bouncing around on that level because you're really happy. But apart from that, nothing else significant happens. Then I realized when something really, really hard comes out, when you fail miserably in a particular area of your life, whether it be, I gave you a few examples at the start, whether it be that you didn't get into the school you wanted, or maybe it be that your promotion hasn't turned out the way you wanted, or your career, or your kids, or whatever it be, okay? That is basically when you learn the most about yourself. I realized that I have actually learned way more from my failures than from my successes. I have learned how I deal with problems. And I have learned to understand myself at a whole new dynamic. Rather than just bouncing around being happy all the time, when something happens that you may not have wanted to happen, that is actually the time when your personal growth is at its peak. It's at its maximum. And so my understanding of this failure and success is that failure is actually one of the most crucial parts of an individual's life. Okay, it is even more important than the successes you have, because what really determines what I realize now is more important is not how many times you win in this game of life. It's basically how many times you're able to pick yourself up from failure, and how many times you're actually able to start over even though something hasn't turned out the way you planned. How many times you're able to stand up and try again. That is what defines a true champion. That is what defines a true hero. A person that after a lot of miserable attempts, after a lot of pain, is able to just stand up and keep going. I believe that failures are way more important than successes. And I believe that by the suffering that you go through with failure, you really do end up having a higher dynamic of life. You end up growing into a higher level. It ends up not hurting you, it ends up lifting you up. It's sort of like life is trying to discipline you. I mean, when we were kids and our parents told us no, no, don't run out on the street, or no, don't, put a fork into the, PowerPoint or something. They said no to us, but they weren't trying to hurt us because of that no. Obviously, as kids, we would have screamed and had a tantrum, but it was for a greater purpose, which is probably what is happening in life. Life is trying to teach us something in the process of saying no to us and no to our desires. And it ends up being very positive in the end. So whatever your goal is, whether you've failed in a particular aspect of life and you feel miserable, remember that something positive will come out. Eventually, it may take, a month. It may take 5 years. It may take even 20 years until you see the real effect of that particular failure. And then I promise you that you will feel grateful for that eventually. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it gave you a better feeling about yourself if you're maybe in a state of getting over a particular event that hasn't turned out the way you expected. Just remember that eventually you will grow as a person. And these feelings inside are feelings of growth, okay? Even though it hurts, it will eventually flourish into something else, okay? It will all get better in the end, okay? So I hope this video has helped you, and all the best in the future.